right, so we're going to kick it off with a panel discussion. This year we've actually decided to bring a bit of the workplace to you guys on the panel. We're going to start off the panel discussion with a little bit of an introduction story from Dan Plexman. Dan's put together some words for us about some things that have happened in his past to where he was and to where he is today and how important this panel discussion is to him. So open it up for us, Dan.
All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. Most of you know me and know my story, and I've had the honor and the experience of sharing it with most of you here today, or a few of you here today. My experience being involved in a preventable workplace injury. It's obvious this experience has changed me greatly. It's been life-changing, life-altering. Some parts of my body, they've been surgically removed, and they've been discarded as medical trash. Some parts of my body have been removed and then placed on other parts of my body. I've seriously been changed and rearranged. I really have been. And all this physical change has changed me psychologically, emotionally. Some of you've heard my experience being involved in workplace injury. And you've heard it related to workplace safety, but there's more to it. I can't explain and share my entire story in 1 hour like I normally do. And to do it in 10 minutes here now, or 45 minutes for the rest of us, it's impossible. But I would like to share part of my story that relates to the theme of this conference, moving the needle on healthy communication. A lack of healthy communication and an abundance of unhealthy communication, I truly believe, are the direct results of why I was seriously injured on the job site that day. I think to understand how healthy communication creates a safe environment, we also need to understand how unhealthy communication does the exact opposite. It makes us all unsafe. So let me lay out a little bit of the backstory of my experience being injured on the job site. And to start, I must make it really clear. I don't blame anybody. If I blame anybody, I blame myself. But it's really nobody's fault. But at the same time, it's everybody's fault. You get it? Like, we're all in this together. We are all products of our environment. Products of home, work, school, of our entire life experience. That's how it works. And the crew I was on, it was similar to many of the other crews I worked with on the pipeline, working on the oil sands, the tar sands, the oil rigs, pulp and paper mills, hydroelectric construction jobs. Very similar to all those different crews. A lot of people would describe it as old school. But I describe it as being doing what we've been taught. Described as learned behavior. Monkey see, monkey do. And the dynamics of my work crew that I was on when I was injured, these dynamics were truly an accident waiting to happen. And some of the people in charge, they were smart. They were very well-spoken. They were soft-spoken. They were really good at sharing their abundance of knowledge. They're really good at sharing their stories. But at the same time, a lot of these guys were very negative. They were mean. They were disrespectful. Yelling and derogatory comments were very common. It was the way we did things on that crew. Our entire crew, from our field foreman, our job steward, and even the safety rep, they were browbeaten, they were humiliated, and they were disrespected every single day. It's like some of us on that crew, we were scared of our own shadow. It's like we were walking on eggshells daily. This was definitely not a safe and comfortable work environment. Most of us never stood up. None of us spoke up, or some of us spoke up, but we never really stood up and spoke out and demanded our respect or even our workplace safety. It's just how it is. That's what the safety rep told me one day. It's just how it is, Dan. We all just kind of accepted it as the norm. And this bit of information I give to you is just the backstory of how my crew was in a state of dysfunction because of this unhealthy communication. Right from the get-go. It was an accident waiting to happen. And I just happened to be the guy. Unhealthy communication is not something that heals itself. Healthy communication is something that needs to be taught by example. We need to be taught how to communicate properly. We need to learn and accept communication. It's like baking a cake when you're a child. It's very simple for an adult to do it, because you've done it how many times? You can read, you can do all that stuff. You need the right ingredients, you need the recipe. But when you're a child, when you're inexperienced, you mostly need someone to walk you through the process. You need to be taught how to bake that simple cake. You need to know how to follow the recipe. And HSW has the recipe. We really do. We just need to learn to follow it. We all need to be part of the change. And being here today, participating in what we're participating in right here and now, this is the change. We are part of the change, and we all need to be proud of that. We really need to be proud of that. So now I'm going to fast forward to the day I was injured. Or maybe I'm going to go back in time to the day I was injured. You see, when I was injured on a Tuesday. I took the Monday off to deal with some personal matters at home. I was engaged at the time, planning a wedding, selling my rental house. My home life was very busy at the time. I was scheduled to arrive back to work Tuesday. And when I arrived on the job site, my entire crew, including my foreman, was at another job site 200 kilometers away. The only other HSW electrician on that job, who was also my union steward, he was in a panel building wiring a panel. And before my electrical foreman left to go to the next job site 200 kilometers away, he jotted down my electrical work instructions and handed them to the carpenter foreman. He left my electrical work instructions to the carpenter to give to me verbally. That's how my work instructions were given to me. I was an electrical apprentice given my electrical work orders to work under live lines by a carpenter. Major communication breakdown, I'd say, wouldn't you? It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And that's why I'm fucking here. Second-hand information. Second-hand friggin' information. That's why I'm here. A major breakdown in communication. It's life-altering. It changes everything. We're not here just to blow smoke, you know what I mean? Sunshine up your butts. This is real life stuff. And I'm the result of miscommunication. That's why we spent thousands and thousands of dollars the last 2 days to enforce this message. That's why we brought Chris Lacko here. That's why Rob Ellis was here. That's why all of us are here. Like I said, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming anybody. I blame myself mostly. I could have stopped this directly. I really could have, but I didn't. None of us knew any other way of communicating on that day at that job site. It's just how it was. It was an accepted norm. And as I said, yelling, derogatory comments, they were a normal part of the mode of operations on our crew. And as unhealthy as this form of communication was, it wasn't unfamiliar to me. It wasn't unfamiliar to me. That's how I was raised. That's how my dad taught me. That's how my dad learned. That's how he taught. This miscommunication, this unhealthy communication, just like healthy communication, it is all learned behavior. We have the choice to learn it, to unlearn it, and to teach it properly. There's a healthier way to communicate. We need to grasp it. Things were very, very different 100 years ago. Things were different 50 years, 40 years ago, 20, even 10 years ago. Things were very, very different. It's just how it was. But it doesn't have to be like that anymore. It doesn't have to be like that. We need to stand up. We need to speak out. Stand up and speak out. It's probably one of the most healthiest forms of communication we can have on the job site. It's direct safety. I've been with the Canadian Union of Skilled Workers since 2005. I've been injured for 16 years. I was only on the job site for just over 3 years working for CUSW. And it kind of blows my mind that I've been around with you, many of you, for almost 20 years. And I see the new breed. I see the changes taking place within this union. I physically see it. And I've been experiencing it. And I'm grasping it. I'm really grasping it. And I can see everybody else grasping it too. We have a long, long way to go. We really do. But we are a progressive union. We truly are a work family. Individually and collectively, we are always growing and we are always improving. Our growth will never stop. And us, as health, safety, and wellness members on the committee of the Health, Safety, and Wellness Committee, we selected this group of panelists not by accident. It wasn't by accident. This was a collaborative and corroborative decision made by the Health, Safety, and Wellness Committee. We did this on purpose. Individually, us, these panelists, we represent Canadian Union of Skilled Workers as a whole. We know it's just the thin, thin layer of this HSW cake that we're all building. But there is also lots of room to make this cake even sweeter. And that's why we're here today. We're building a cake just like children with our parents. We're learning how to make this sweet HSW cake even sweeter. That's why we're here today. We're here to learn healthy communication. And the only way to do this is for the individual members to voice their thoughts, to voice their concerns, and to most importantly, participate in the form and function of this union. That's how families work. That's how organizations grow, and that's how we are all going to stay safe, is by us participating in the form and function of this union. That's how it works. This union is much, much more than just a hiring hall. It's much more than just a logo on a shirt or on letterhead. This union, that's who I am. That's who we are. Let's make it stronger. I'm really proud to be individually contributing and participating in the collective movement of the Canadian Union of Skilled Workers. I'm really proud of this. And together, through panel discussions like this, through meetings like this, we all have the opportunity to move the needle on healthy communication. Thanks, Calvin. Thanks, Mark, Alina, James. Thanks for being here today. And I thank everybody for continuing this conversation. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what comes out of these guys' mouths. Thanks, everybody. Let's get this conversation started.
Thanks a lot for that, Dan. That was a really good story. That was a really powerful message. Thank you for sharing it with us, and I'm really looking forward to spending the evening with you and the family. That's for sure. So,
you got that right, Calvin. Thanks
like
very
you
much.
said, it's all about family, and I think that's one of the really important parts of what we're doing here, and trying to stay on topic with the healthy communication. I put it home to my family every day about each and every one of you. All of you here in this room. I'm in the hotel room at night, and I'm like, did you meet this person? Did you meet this person? And she's like, I met a lot of people. And I'm like, I know, but that was like, and so anyways, if you guys see me out there with my family, please come stop in, talk. I kind of related a little bit to what Alyssa said earlier when we were up here at the front, and she said she was on the spot, and I kind of thought to myself, like, I really do feel like that a lot of the time, but I mean, today I kind of thought to you in my head, I was like, well, no, you're with family, you're with the rest of us, right? So I'm really comfortable with everybody here, and it's the family aspect of it. So I thank everybody for coming and being a part of this. And I really appreciate everybody's time. So please come see me and my family. Come say hello, stop by, sit at the table, have a drink with us. Join us this evening. So with that, we'll flip it over to the panel. I'll let you guys introduce yourself to the room. Just go quick through an introduction of who you are and what your role is. And we will move into some questions.
James Duffield. Most of everybody knows me by Duff. I'm working with HSW right now, kind of taking some of Calvin's responsibility because we all know he doesn't stop.
Turn the mic on. Oh, it's on.
Can you not hear me?
Louder.
Perfect. Yeah.
Where was I? Yeah, taking over for Calvin.
Big shoulders over here.
I was a health and safety rep for Ballard for a few years, so I got a little bit of experience with it. And yeah, loving the conference so far.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alina Murray. I am the chair of the Southwest Unit. I'm also the recorder for the Apprentice Committee, and I am a fifth term 309A electrical apprentice, currently working for Hydro One. Is that all I say?
Yeah, my name's Marquise. I guess in terms of the Dan and I would have a fair amount of time on. I've got 2 decades under the belt. I've served in many positions for the union at many different levels. In the workplace that I'm in now, actually it's a bit different. I'm adjacent to the field. I'm an instructor. Deal with something called Utility Work Protection Code, which many of you know is the code where the power comes off unless you work at the Bruce Darlington or OPG. That's what I have. So this conversation and the keynote that we're talking about and about communication is very inherent and exactly built into what I strive and what I am trying to do in the workplace.
Right on. Thanks, guys. So I'll put the first question out to the entire group and then just answer whoever feels like it's necessary, or all of you if you want. our topic is moving the needle on healthy communication. And from the standpoint that the role that you're in, why is it important to be talking about healthy communication now?
I guess I got the potato.
Take it away,
I got
Mark.
the potato. Yeah, absolutely. Exclusive with what I do, it is entirely. If my communication is wrong, that will directly affect health and safety. There's no missing out on that fact. It's got to be clear and concise and consistent, because you know what, we don't like to speak this way, but in trades, it's, you live or you die. But serious accidents can happen if I'm wrong in the advice. My job is to advise and inform and help support about 350 people in the field. It's all inherent on consistent and constant communication. In the Utility Work Protection Code in the system, communication is where the biggest breakdown happens. That's where the problems mostly stem from. It's about 80 or 85% of the incidents can be traced right back to a communication.
So for myself, communication's a big thing for me. Like as an apprentice, prior to coming into HSW, I was a self-employed professional photographer for 13 years and a stay-at-home mommy. I did some schooling prior to joining HSW. I took a 2-year power distribution course, but let's just say I had zero experience using tools. I had no idea what a portaband was. I had no idea how to use a mag drill. I had never been in an electrical 500 kV yard. I'd never been in a control room. So communication is a big thing for me, because being an apprentice, you're always afraid to ask questions. Like, you don't want to look stupid, and you don't want to feel dumb in front of a bunch of guys that know what they're doing and they've done this before. And as an apprentice, asking those questions and not being afraid, because knowing that if I didn't ask a question, I would feel, if I hurt myself or hurt somebody else, I'm more afraid of the outcome of what could happen if I didn't ask those questions. So communication is definitely a huge thing for me, because I feel like we should all be able to have a voice and use it and not be afraid to use that voice. Is that good?
Good point. No, thank you. Great point.
I think for me, when it comes to healthy communication, I'm doing a lot of site visits right now, and Craig kind of touched on it yesterday. One of my goals with all my site visits is letting the members know of the resources we have with PSBT and stuff like that. And I'm a big proponent of mental health and stuff like that. So when I can communicate that healthy and stuff, it kind of breaks that stigma, which we talked about yesterday. And yeah, just kind of getting the conversation going. So guys and girls aren't ashamed to ask for the help that a lot of us need these days.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. You're going to hold that potato for a minute.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you for the different perspectives on that. It's really great to hear all of the different levels on, how you guys look at your communication effectively, differently. So,
Yeah, I got a little point.
yeah.
Like myself, obviously, I'm not on the tools anymore. It's been, like I said, 16 years since I've been working on a Hydro One site or a electrical site, any job site, really. But I'm very involved with the burn survivor community throughout North America. And because I've got a bit of experience speaking about my story to workplaces and with the burn survivor community, I do a lot of peer support. And my wife and I are often called upon by strangers that are recommended to talk to us because of our experiences being burned in different situations. And I've talked to linemen and electricians and firefighters and many different workers from across North America, complete strangers who've called me up asking for advice about how to heal and this and that sort of thing. And like Mark said, 80, 85%, I think you said, of injuries that are happening in this industry are related directly to miscommunication. And it is totally true. I've talked to so many guys like us regular workers who are electricians, carpenters, wherever, working around live lines, who have been seriously burned and like lost limbs. I'm talking like losing 2 legs and 2 arms at the same time, that kind of stuff. And just as simple as it is, by having a squeaky radio, by not getting that proper message sent. You know, is it open, is it closed? Oh, I thought he said open, I thought he said closed, I don't really know what he said. Done. Things written down improperly because a guy doesn't know how to spell a proper term, or a handwriting was so terrible. Like that kind of thing. It happens. I can see some faces in the audience going ding, ding, ding. That happens, and it is true. There's so many different forms of communication and so many forms of miscommunication that are the direct results of hands like this. So thanks for making that point, Mark.
Thanks, Dan. I think I'll put this out to the group, but I'll start with you, Jamie. I know you probably have a good answer for this, but can you tell me about a safety issue that you had difficulty resolving, or you felt that you couldn't speak up, and like how did it work out for you? Like what happened? Sure, you've got a great one being a health and safety rep and all. No, I can actually help you reflect with that. Is that, like, you know, we went through a pretty tough time in the workplace together, and we were dealing with a safety issue with a friend and a foreman, and it had gone on for a little while before we really both decided to take the opportunity to speak up. And you know, the last thing I really remember, the thing that resonates the most with me, was when we had met up in the parking lot, 6 a.m., still dark, and you looked me right in the eye and said, well, are we doing this today or what?
Yeah, this is a great one. Sorry, this is a great one with healthy communication and how it can change for the person you're talking to. You got to know who you're talking to, because me and this guy, he needed help. He needed to go to treatment, and we were good friends for years. Worked together for years, and I tried nicely to talk to him, and like most addicts are, I can do it on my own and get better. I had multiple conversations like that, and I don't know if it's the universe thing again, but I was reading a book at the time. It was by Wes Watson. And he's a motivational guy, but he's like a penitentiary guy. And if you don't like the F word, don't read his book, because it's about every 10 words. But I actually finished the book the night before we were having this conversation. We're going to have this conversation, and it was, not here to be your friend, not here to be nice, not here for you to like me. I'm here to get you help. I'm here, that's what the conversation is. That's the goal of the conversation. Because I knew going in that day I might be losing a friend, because I knew it was going to be a heated conversation, because it was 6 in the morning and we were ready to walk off the job site. So yeah, I think it was healthy. Reading that book really helped me. It was like, but it was healthy communication. It went over well, and that guy's been sober for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And we're still good friends. So.
Yeah, and it was a big learning curve, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
We had a lot of help. Pretty much, you know, the day we made that connection with Craig, and we've helped a lot of people since. Mm-hmm. So, thank you both. Anyone else on the health and safety? No, I wouldn't. Mark will be there to follow.
A little bit different. Hearing all the stories, and I've talked to many of you through this, is I've been incredibly fortunate. A mere coin flip, and Dan and I are in different chairs. Right. That's the reality. You guys are all too powerful for me. I had a place that everybody heard. Voices were heard. Everybody had your back. I never worried a day ever coming to work. I never worried about speaking up. I did make the apprentice thing where, I hope everybody knows what we're doing and you're watching it. But I've only had a positive journey through this. I've learned along the way I'm not great with knives. Some of you know the story. Only myself to blame on those. But I've always been that in a place where I had the support, I had the communication, I had the back, I had the coaching, I had the communication, that it was a level playing field. I may have been a green hat, but I was not treated like such. The more I hear, the more I know how fortunate I've been. And that's a really big part of where I am. And what I can give back.
So, as an apprentice in the field, I want to say that actually going off of Chris's story this morning, there's been times where I've been working and I've heard the phrase, apprentices should be seen and not heard. And I feel like that is fucking bullshit. Because I'm going to come into the room and I'm going to ask every fucking question you can think of. And I will drive you nuts because I want to know, what is that? What does that do? How does this work? I don't hesitate. I want to learn because I want to know that what I'm doing is safe. I want to know that the guy beside me is going to be safe. I want to know that we're going home at the end of the day and we're all going to see our families. And that's the way we're moving, and I can see it, I can feel it, but there's times where I've had guys approach me and say, I have this question, but I'm afraid to ask because they're going to make me feel stupid. And then he'll say, they won't make fun of you, though, because they like you more. And I'm like, that's not fair. Why is there that stigmatism? Like, why do you feel so uncomfortable? I've had many people do that to me, and I'm just like, I don't think it's a stupid question. And there's a lot of times I'll ask questions, too, and the guys that I'm working with will say, that's a great question, Alina. Like, we never even thought of it that way, or we never thought to do it that way. And it's amazing knowing that you have a voice and that you can use it. And any apprentice I talk to, I tell them, like, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. Like, don't be afraid to speak up, because it's your hands in that panel. Like, it's your life at the end of the day. So you got to know that the people around you are taking care of you, and you're learning what you need to learn, and you're doing what you need to do to be safe, and that you have the proper PPE, and that the communication is there. So, okay.
Wow. Thank you. That was great. Going to skip the next question because you pretty much answered it. So that was great. No, that was right where we were heading with this. So thank you. Thank you for that, all three of you. The perspective is great, all different ends of things. So just want to kind of get to like the promoting of a physically and psychologically safe workplace. Like, what challenges do you guys see in your roles for promoting that, and how can we give advice back out to actually help create that type of workplace?
I like something that was said yesterday. I can't remember who said it, but it was be the change you want to see. And so, like, I promote mental health. Everywhere I go, I try and break that stigma. I think the more it's talked about, the more people are going to get the help they need. And yeah, I think be the change you want to see. That's been huge.
Yeah.
Huge in my life for a long time. But
That's a good message. Yeah. It's simple and it resonates.
Yeah, like I said before, the beauty about the position that I have is that's entirely what drives it. That's entirely what makes it work. And I get to flex a little bit of muscle in that area. I get to hit a lot of different real estate in that room. I get to take the stories here and take them forward. I partially, I'll struggle here. I come here to be affected by hearing about those who have been affected. And I use that. and definitely try the room. And Lena made a great point as far as apprentices. Is there's no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to health and safety. Not at all. I'll admit I've had the odd question, I've been stunned somebody had to ask it. I use that line. There are some surprising. Never. No. But there is no such thing. You're asking because you don't know. You're asking somebody who's been there before. You're asking for your own comprehension. Maybe the way I explain it to A is not who the second person can understand. But I'm really in a fortunate role in communication and health and safety is the whole drive of that, is to help support and help lift up. Because of who came before me is why I'm here now.
Sorry, what was the thing again?
Just kind of floating around promoting a healthy and safe workplace psychologically and physically. So what are the challenges that you have in your role, and how would you promote it better?
Okay, so since I'm kind of like a more senior apprentice, I guess you would call me? Yes, no? Yes, no?
Mentor, apprentice.
Fifth term? Yeah, okay. Sorry, okay, I get a little bit of a title. Any newer apprentices that do come in the field, I definitely try to hype them up and get them excited and make them feel comfortable and just be like, I'm in your shoes too, we're in this together. And like I said before, just never be afraid to ask questions. Even for me, I've got some dumb questions from other apprentices, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna help you, and I'm gonna be nice, and I'll be gentle, because I know there has been times where even I've asked questions too, and the guys have been, they ridiculed me a little bit, and it's like, I'm new to this, guys. You know this, but I never want anybody else to feel that way. I never want to treat somebody like they're dumb. I don't know. I just want everybody to be comfortable, and I want everybody to be safe.
Good. Thank you. So everybody's here because they're passionate about health and safety. And, we were hoping that you could pass along some advice about, say, maybe some of those members, some of those reps that may have to either, leave their crews to attend something like this or attend a steward issue or a health and safety issue. They're kind of getting a little bit of hate on them to advocate, for the health and safety of the work environment. What advice could you give to them?
I just tell them to keep in mind that they're there to support the members that might be complaining that they're not part of the crew or whatever, so or leaving for the crew. So, I don't just tell the members that I'm doing this for you guys. I'm trying to make this a better, healthier, safer workplace. That's my role. You guys elected me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that you're passionate about it, right?
Or maybe tell them to come to the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, anytime that I go back to the job site and they say, how was the conference? How was that meeting? I'm always full of positive, I wish you guys were there. They spoke about this. We had this guest speaker. They spoke about this. It's incredible. If you ever get the opportunity, absolutely attend one of these, conferences or meetings or whatever. Sign up. Be there. We are here because we are what makes the union. We make it stronger together. So everybody should be doing their part and being here. We're a big happy family, so it's nice.
Yeah, and I'll jump off. The family side is, family doesn't mean blood, and here we get to choose it. And not knocking, we do talk about brothers and sisters, but we're members. I didn't get to choose my sister. I did all right, by the way. I'm not complaining. But as far as our reps out there, because I'm adjacent to the field and I get to hear a lot, and because even though the paycheck is the white hat, I don't wear one, I still get to hear the truth a lot, so to speak. People, it's that old methodology of its production is the be-all, it's the end-all, right? As we go different layers, it flips around. And your health and safety reps and your stewards are assets and should be viewed as such, because that's the role they have. Absolutely, elected. You stood for nomination, you accepted nomination, and you were chosen and voted in. Many of you may have been acclaimed. It's the same, right? But it's not that here all the time, oh, they're not gone. Shannon's gone, she's on health and safety again. Yeah, she's skilled, we know we're missing in the job, but what she's doing is a bigger piece of the pie. It's something I'll never understand, but you see it from the employer down, right? They talk safety, and I'm saying in general speak, not necessarily where I'm employed, but safety becomes a buzzword because we got to say it. Like the ticky box that I told you once a week, you did a good job, but it wasn't really, it wasn't in the time, it wasn't really personal, I just did it because I had to. It's something that I see that I'll never understand. Your rep is out there to help, and in a case where I'm employing, there's a lot of people there supporting, and it's a heck of a lot of work. And I'm looking at a guy in the back room right now, who is one of them, right? It's hundreds of people. But we have to realize that's what they're there for, and to help them, communicate with them so we understand what they're learning, and just, oh, they're off doing the health and safety stuff. No, ask about the role. Get educated into the role. I've only been a health and safety rep at field level, but I had served time in that position, so I do have an understanding of it. And obviously, in my travels, I've had a lot of exposure to every part of the union. I know not everybody has that story, so it does give me a big, broad viewpoint. But yeah, they're absolutely an asset, and they have chosen to stand for love of the game, for love of the members.
That was a good answer. Thank you. That one really resonated with me too, as well as being a rep in the field, and it was a powerful question just in the sense that it's something that we've had to deal with as reps for years. It's you don't really get to always see the positive change, you know, on the front line as a representative. You're kind of always dealing with that type of stuff. So in your roles and your years of experience, what's your back pocket thing? Like, what's your tool that you would offer up to, you know, fellow members that are dealing with trying to keep each other safe and healthy?
So my big thing, which I already said, but is like never be afraid to advocate for yourself. Like I tell that to every apprentice. We had just done an orientation in the Southwest, and we had about 20 apprentices at it. And that was my big message to all of them was like, never be afraid to speak up for yourself. If you're stuck in a relay room and you really want to learn the stuff outside, like be sure to speak up, like raise your voice, like talk to your sub, talk to your foreman. Like the experience that you have as an apprentice is what you make of it. Like you need to be your own voice sometimes because they don't know. And that applies to like keeping yourself safe too. Like you need to make sure you're doing all the things and speaking up if you don't have the right size gloves, if you're not wearing the proper size harness, like right. Those are big things. Yeah. And we work in a very unforgiving environment. Like I put my hands in the wrong panel, I'm done. I move the man lift to the left instead of the right. I could be encroaching on my limits. Like, so you always want to ask the questions, be an advocate, like speak up. Like see something, say something. That's what they always tell us.
Thank you.
I'm going to touch on the see something, say something, because just what I always say to the guys and girls is like, just because I'm the health and safety rep doesn't mean safety isn't everybody's part, right? It's the family thing again. Everybody look after everybody's back. I remember one time I was working with a guy and he was about to get in a hole. It was short, but it was definitely not safe. And the foreman was putting pressure, and I told him, you go in that hole, I'm walking away because I ain't calling your wife because you're dead or whatever. And it was a scary moment, and he ended up not going, and we made it right. But yeah, have each other's backs, especially when it comes to safety or whatever, right? Let's go home to our families, like we're a family at work. Let's act like that, and then go home to our families at night. Yeah.
That's why we go to work in the first place, for our families.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all for your perspectives. I just want to open it up to the crowd for questions. I see one here.
I like what you're saying, Alina, and I just want to give the flip side to that. So I love that you're saying you tell people to advocate and use your voice, and we talk about, being clear in our own messaging. And I think it's really important to do a check on yourself on if you're a good receiver, right? For those of you who are in a position where you are the more senior person, are you giving people a space where they can come and talk to you? right? Because I might be extremely good at advocating for myself, but if the person I need to ask is not receptive and not open or not very nice to me, it's not really going to matter how clear I am, because I'm not going to get the right answer. So I think doing that check on ourselves to always make sure that we are open and receptive and we are okay with questions, and even if we don't necessarily have them, or we aren't the one who has to convey the message, are we open enough to others? Or are we kind of jaded or grumpy or closed off, or, and in that, if you are the more senior person, even if you're having like a crummy day, if you're responsible for other people, like, hey, I'm not myself, you can still ask me questions. I know I look like I'm not approachable right now, but like, if something's going on, you can still ask me, right? And just like owning that responsibility that we have too.
That's a good point. Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions for our panelists?
I just have a comment. I was given this as a thank you, so thank you. I'm going to tell you why this is meaningful for me, because coming here to speak was an amazing side hustle, and I really appreciate it. I'm a boss at work, and what you've just said, I think it was what you've said really resonates, because it reminds me of my own personal responsibilities as a boss. That, yeah, I'm the best advocator for me, but I also need to be mindful, how am I coming across to other people? Because I do have apprentices in the role, and sometimes I'm feeling like they're asking me 1,000 questions, and sometimes that little dialogue starts to, oh my goodness, what are they gonna, hang on. Am I communicating properly with my staff and the things that I do? So when I go back to my office, this is going on my wall. And every time somebody asks me a question, I'm going to look at this Cus W, I'm going to think, hey, hang on, safety. Checking in with myself. How am I doing? Am I a 1 today? Am I a 5? And my team is great. And I can say, you know what, I'm having a shitty day, I didn't sleep well. So if I look like I'm not, if my resting bitch face is on, it's not your fault. That's all I want to say. So thank you for this, and thank you for this conference. It's amazing.
I've been thinking like since yesterday, just all the stuff we've been learning here and talking about is all like very moving and enlightening, you know what I mean? And then I was talking to somebody outside yesterday, I was just thinking like how practical is it, like in this little fantasy world of healthy communication, like how practical is it to make this real in a workplace? Like when I think about my workplace, this doesn't even seem possible, you know what I mean, to have this kind of environment, like, sure, I might know how to do it, or I might at least know how to, the concepts of it, but then you're in a workplace full of people who could care less, or maybe some of them do, definitely not my boss, and people like that. So just how does this actually get implemented or turn into a real thing?
It starts with you.
Yeah. Exactly it. Yeah, and I mean, don't be afraid to start small, right? Like they're saying, when it comes to a statement like be the change you want to see, start with yourself, and I heard, Dan say it earlier and other people say it, like you start the cool kids club on your own, right? So you got to pioneer it on your way of things, and the people that will want to radiate that positivity will come to you.
Yeah, and especially in the industry that we're in, grassroots is how we were formed, but also it's nice to say the word change, but let's be honest, where we are, it's still a bit of a throwback to the way of work. It's more evolution, which takes time, right? And also, as far as the journey persons, the apprentices, and everybody around, nobody has all the answers. They know what they were told 10 years ago. That doesn't make it right. Sorry, that doesn't make it correct today, right? We've all built off prints, most current revision. Otherwise, you're going to do it 2 or 3 times, right? I learned coming up, and it was somebody who actually, an older journey person, that talked to me and said, almost the most dangerous words you're ever going to hear. We've always done it this way. And that's how we get into these cycles where nobody's asking a question, right. We just follow. And instead of being on the road, we're so far off it, we can't see it anymore. And it is easy to say and talk in the room, But yeah, it takes a step at a time and drive forward. But if that communication and that dialogue goes verbally, non-verbally, my position is written, it's verbal, and it's non-verbal. I don't wear this t-shirt ever by accident. I wear it every Thursday. Most of the week, I try to wear HSW. And I do call back to it through my classes. And call back to our values and beliefs and call back to where we're from. Because we've grown so much that not everybody's got that touch in, right? I got to work with a lot of the founding members. That is, again, my fortunate story. I wish you could have met them all.
Yeah, it's like building the cake, like I was saying about. It's all layers, and you start off by cracking an egg. You add the flour, you mix the water, you know? You just go from there. It's like, you just gotta start somewhere. Start small.
Calvin, over the years, we look on the culture of our workplaces and we see the trend of no question is a foolish question. And we have apprentices who come in the field, and as you say, you have to adopt them as a family and have an open environment so they'll ask even the most simplest questions. And I think that's how we're going to generate our abilities to allow them to talk and ask simple questions as possible. And so they'll feel welcome and they'll feel like a family as we talk about people that doesn't have the confidence and that encouragement. We need to foster that, give them that encouragement so that we have an open environment. A lot of crews are not, doesn't give off that kind of sense in the workplace at times, but we got to push for that, to open that environment. Because that's when we started, things are feedback to you or maybe in a leadership role that you can help or you can support. So I think that's one of the things we got to look at. Create a family environment where we can give people a chance to ask questions. It doesn't matter how foolish it is, but ask questions. And then from there, we can move on.
Yeah, you make a good point, Howard. No, you do. Thank you for that. Well, all this talk about cake, I hope they're serving it at lunch, and we're well into lunch. So, if one more question, where? Oh, sorry.
I wanted to talk about the communication, and that everybody talks about giving orders and everything like that, and we always forget the word assume, that you're giving instructions assuming that they know what they're doing, and assume makes an ass out of you and me. So make sure that you don't assume that if people know what they're doing, and they say, do you understand what I mean? Because some people will be afraid of asking that question. So it's like making sure that the ground roots are there. Do you understand where we're going before you add anything more on to what, do you understand what we're doing? Okay, we're doing, if you understand this, then we can proceed and go here. If not, let's step back and make sure we know what we're doing before we go ahead today.
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Donna. Okay, I'm getting the hook. We really have to go this time. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.